Hi, everyone. My name is Alisha Bartlett, and I am the podcast manager for On the Reel with the Ubuntu Fly Anglers Network. I had the absolute privilege of interviewing Miss Yolanda Edwards for this episode of Be What You Don't See and On the Reel. It's our season 2 premiere, and what a way to kick it off. Miss Yolanda talks about being a Army veteran, a mother, a community builder, a generational curse breaker, and a fly angler. She now has the nonprofit Her Waters. Miss Yolanda brings wisdom, tears, joy. We are so lucky to have this episode as our kickoff to season 2. We hope that you enjoy it. Thanks.
I'm excited for this. I cannot believe this has come to fruition where I am being interviewed. This is
It's
amazing. Wonderful. And as I continue to take steps forward, what's more meaningful to me is that my children will be able to see the work that I've put in to making Black women more visible.
Let's start. Let's get into it. My name is Alisha Bartlett, and my pronouns are she, her, and I get to interview you for iFishiBelong and Be What You Don't See. So this is very exciting. So can you please introduce yourself and a little bit about yourself?
My name is Dr. Yolanda Edwards. I am the proud founder of Her Waters, Inc., where I'm from Georgia. I'm not originally from Georgia. Okay. I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Then I left Cleveland to join the military in 1982. So where I spent 25 years in the military, Army. Well,
yes. Well, that brings up a question. You know, you've worn several hats in your life as an Army veteran, mother, community builder, and now a fly angler. And can you just share a little bit about your background and what first drew you to fishing and the outdoors?
Well, my beginnings happened at home in Cleveland, Ohio. I had a mother who loved to fish. And as a kid, I always thought that other kids was doing the same thing that my mother did for us. So, we would have to, the day before, she give us soap and we go out there, make a bucket full of soapy water, throw it on the grass and get the worms to come up, and we're taking worms out of the ground. We put them in a bucket. Okay, we've done that part. And so we go to bed early because we know we're getting up very early the next morning.
Right.
And she's cooking fried chicken and fries and put it in a brown paper bag. Girl, we ate when we went fishing.
Ooh, that sounds good.
We would have popcorn and potato chips in the same bag. Look, we would have fun. But those were my beginnings. The most memorable thing I have with learning how to fish, of course, it was my mother teaching us how to fish. But there were fun times. There was only times where we got to ask her questions only when we were going fishing. So, for instance, I think I remember asking her, have you ever been suspended from school? When was the last time you got a whooping from grandma? We were asked her real crazy questions, but she would answer them. That was our time with my mom. Yeah. And I remember that. So my beginnings happened at a very early age. I would say as early as 5.
Wow, how wonderful.
Yeah, we did a lot of fishing at home. My mother was very passionate about fishing. I just never knew that the lessons that she was giving me would be the very lessons that would hold and sustain me as a senior. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that this lesson that my mother has given me would be the very thing that holds me. And it's amazing. Sometimes when I think about it, I really do get emotional. And my kids would tell you that I am a real big crybaby, but I just feel. And it's sometimes that I either get the goosebumps or you'll see the tears fall. But I just never thought that she was giving me something like this.
Yeah.
So I go into the military. I spent countless time in the military. I did do Desert Storm, Operation Enduring Freedom, Iraqi Freedom. I did all those freedoms for the military. I was on the front lines, and I was a chaplain assistant at the time. So I'm very spiritual. But
Mhm.
that was a moment when I left my firstborn. I never thought that I would be entering a war. I just thought I would get to travel in the military and do my thing. And as a
Mhm.
young girl, I said I wanted a red Corvette. I was just young. I didn't know what I was getting myself into until I got into it with the military. And then moving forward, I did my time in the military. It was a great run. I miss it sometimes. So now I'm retired. I retired here in Georgia. So I went from being raised in Cleveland, Ohio, moving in the military. I can't tell you how many countless places I've ever been. That would be a task. But but now I decided to make Georgia my home. And so now that Georgia is my home, I wanted to fish. And prior, when I got here, I remember speaking to my mother. I was like, "Ooh, Mama, when I retire, I'm gonna get a boat. And we're gonna fish. We're gonna fish till the sun come back up." That's what I wanted to do with my mom, and that didn't happen. She didn't make it to my retirement. It was a lot of emotions there. I almost didn't want to fish. I felt robbed. I felt a lot of things that I did go home when I had leave and vacations and things like that. And I would take my eldest daughter with me and we surprised my mom. But I just thought I would have, once I was retired, I thought I would have that time to really spend with her and do the passionate things that we love, plants,
Mhm.
and fishing and all kinds of stuff. And that didn't happen. I decided that I would try fishing. I fished here and there. I don't know if I put that much heart into it, but
Mhm.
I did something. And then it got to the point I kept wanting to get better at fishing.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. Like the fish would take my bait all the time. I sucked. When I tell you I couldn't fish, like it got so bad. The
Mm.
fish was taking my bait and the hook. They was like, just give it to me because
How rude.
so they would take my bait and the hook. And I distinctly remember this one. It had to be a weekend, I think. It might have been a weekday. Heck, I was retired and I was out there fishing. I kept putting bait on there. The fish was taking the bait, then they taking the bait and the hook, and I'm having to sit there and redo it again. And I just looked to the heaven. I was like, Mama, I don't know what I'm doing. I ain't got a clue. Can you just put a fish on? If you put a fish on, I'll keep fishing. If I don't catch a fish, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to give this thing up. So I stayed out there a little bit, and I actually do have the very picture that that day that I caught a bass and the bass stayed on my hook and I was able to bring it to shore. And I can tell you, I felt like I was five again, like I had just caught my first fish. I was jumping up and down. I was crying. I was
Mhm.
emotional. And I was like, thank you, Mom. Thank you. Okay, you want me to fish? And I just thought that was a true sign that she wanted me to keep going. So I
Yeah.
came home. When I came home, I said, that's it. No more fish is taking my bait or my hook. I turned all the TVs on YouTube and I was like, I'm going to learn how to tie a polymer's knot. I'm going to learn how to catch bluegill. I wanted to know more and more and more. And so I used YouTube to get better.
Mhm.
Well, I noticed that trying to get out and learn from men, because in my circle, there weren't women that liked to just regular fish. It was like, oh no, I can't do the worms. And oh no, I'm not going outside. So who else can I learn from? Guys.
Mhm.
Guys were just overbearing and they were, I can't even explain it, just rude sometimes, didn't want to give me the information. And I
Mhm.
got frustrated. So I had to do this thing on my own. I would stand at the reservoir before the gate would open, the boats lined up. I'd be the first one there for them to open up the gates. And I would walk down, say, hey, you got any room? I like to get on. And I would walk down. I did. All guys. And it was like, no, I ain't got no room. No, I'm just going out for some peace. They would give me all kind of responses, but the answer was no. So I
Mm.
remember staying out one particular time, and one of the guys that went out, he came back. He was like, look at these size crappies I'm catching out there. And I was like, are you rubbing it in my head? I'm like, yeah, you're
Mm.
rubbing this in. He was like, and you're still out here. I was like, yeah. He said, you are really hooked. And at that moment, I said, no, I'm Ms. Hooked. I wanted him to know, put a title on my name. And
Mm.
that was the moment that I realized I had to take ownership of what I wanted to do in the outdoors. And it wasn't going to be limited to someone giving me a ride on their boat or not. No, I know I'm Ms. Hooked. I am hooked. I'm taking ownership of this, whether you put me on your boat or not. So
Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm.
that's how that happened. And I got the nickname is Hooked. And typically, if I hear that, that's someone that knows me, that's seen me fishing.
Right.
So that's how that happened. And then after I did that, I wanted to start a group, and I wanted to be, it's no fun really fishing by yourself and you catch this big catch and then you go, oh, ain't nobody here. Did y'all see that one? Ain't nobody there to share this story with. So
Right.
I asked God, I typically get an ink pen and a piece of paper and I just start writing. I said, I need a group name. I need a group name so I can
Mm.
tell people they can come here and find a friend to go fishing with. And Hooked in the South came because I'm down here in the South, Hooked
Yeah.
in the South. And I think maybe 1,100 members in there or 1,200. I'm not sure now.
Wow.
And so that was a platform that if you were fishing and you didn't want to fish alone, you can reach in this group and say, hey, who lives over here? I'm getting ready to go fishing. Would you like to go? And that's how Hooked in the South started.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of got old to me. I don't know why, but I wanted to do more.
Mm.
And I thought, okay, maybe I'll start a nonprofit. And ask me where that came from. I tell you no lie. So I reached out to a friend to help me do a nonprofit. I had done them before, but I'd never done anything dealing with fishing and wanting to give back to kids because I wanted to be that woman that a kid think of long after I'm gone and said, this lady named Miss Hook taught me how to fish. And here I am, 65, and I'm still out here fishing because of that lady. That's what I want,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to give. So I started remain hooked outside. What I wanted people to do was get out the house, kids, women, men, it didn't matter. Get out the house and enjoy nature and get out there and do something that you only thought about doing, but just this time, get out there. And I was really passionate about that name because I was giving back to the youth, foster children.
Mm.
And I couldn't take pictures of them because they were ward of the state, but I did that. At-risk youth girls, I still get calls from people that know that I teach. My journey just kept evolving and evolving and evolving to the point I was looking in the schools and I thought how unfair that certain school had programs for fishing and some underprivileged kids did not. And those kids, those Black children, never hear about fishing, getting on a boat or anything. So I tried to go down that route. I didn't have anyone to work with me to try and bring that to the school. So I thought, I have to give this one up because I kept just running into walls. But
Mhm.
I continued to fish. I even taught, my children. I'm not sure if Jasmine. I think Jasmine went fishing, but I know my youngest daughter. Oh, she can cast and she can fish. Yes, and we went to Louisiana and we had a friend that put us on his boat. And my daughter was she's left-handed. She was casting way out there. I was like, oh, okay. Who taught you that? She was
What can
like,
I say?
she said, oh, I said, no, tell me. I'm recording her, right? And I said, who taught you? She said, you looking at her. I said, oh, you talking about me? She was like, yes. I get tickled when I could see her fish. And then I remember on Christmas Day, I bought a new rod. I was like, Vincy, let's go fishing. And we went fishing. We, stepped over the rail. We was catching channel cats. We was catching them left and right. And I've taken her out on a boat to go fishing. It's been a lot of fun. I wish my eldest daughter, I could get her, but she had her career and she was doing her life. But the youngest one, because there's a big gap between the two of them, that youngest one got a lot of me on this side of living. But she can fish now. Yeah, my daughter can fish. And so I kept moving. I had a friend. We were in a relationship for 17 years, and he was diagnosed with colon cancer. And we really thought he was going to beat it, and he didn't. And I was left in the house just sitting. Now my house is empty. I don't hear his footsteps. I don't hear him, calling my name or asking me for nothing or what are we going to eat. It was lonely and it was depressing. And I had another military friend reach out to me and say, hey, have you heard about fly fishing? I said, yeah, it's expensive. I've heard about it. It's expensive. He was like, well, not for you. You're a vet. I was like, really? He was like, yeah, there's a group called Veterans Fly Fishing. And because you're a veteran, you get to go free. They'll provide all the things you need to step in the water. They give you a rod. You don't have to have a rod. You just got to show up. I was like, why they do that? So I took the information. I contacted them. It took me almost a half a year to get to go. And I fished for the first time in April of, it hasn't even been a year that I've been fly fishing. So I went.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I went and they only gave me like a 30-minute block of casting. And they was like, oh, you're good. This is how you do this. You hold the line, you toss, no wrist movement, just arm movement. I was like, okay. And he's like, oh, you're pretty good. Have you ever done this before? I was like, no, never. He was like, you're going to do good on the water. So I did that, and the guy helped me get dressed with all of this gear, new to me. He says, okay, give me a moment, and I need to get dressed too. So I walk over, and I see the river that I'm going to be stepping in. I go over there, and I look. I was like, they think they're going to get me in that? No, this is only going to be a 30-minute walk. That's about all I got to give them because, my I've had surgery on both of my knees and I just knew I couldn't walk through that. Well, he comes over. He's like, are you ready? I said, yes, I'm ready. I'm trying to be on. And I'm looking. He helps me down into the river and we start walking through the river. And, it's like I had a lot of things going on in my head at the time when I was going. So that little chipmunk was rolling. He was like, what are we getting ready to do? What is all this about? And so I get in the river and I'm starting walking. And he said, okay, let's stop. He said, I want you to try and cast over here. Foam is home. Just cast. And on my first cast, I catch a trout. It wasn't big. It was about this big, but I knew those things were really strong, right? And I was trying to manhandle that. So that was my first experience touching a trout. And so I was like, oh my God, that was fun. Can we? He's like, come on. And we're walking. And then I noticed that my chipmunk had kind of slowed down. Now I'm like, wow, listen to the water ripple off the rocks. That sounds good. As I'm walking, I'm catching more fish. I said, wow, birds are chirping. I was like, okay. And I'm having fun. So then I'm enjoying myself now. I don't forget I'm in the river. He taps me, Miss Edwards. He says, it's time to get off the water. I turned to him like real indignant. Why? Like, why we gotta get off the water? He's like, well, it's lunchtime. I said, It's what? He said, it's lunchtime. I looked at my watch. I said, we've been out here for 3 hours. He was like, yes. He said, we can come back. We just need to take a break for lunch. Everybody's getting off the water for lunch. And so I'm so
Mm,
perplexed that I know I have bad knees. And
mm,
to walk in the water, to bend those knees like that, I knew that I was going to have problems. I knew I was going to have to tell them, look, I have to get off the water. This is really hurting my knees.
mhm,
Instead, I learned that the water was very healing for me.
mm,
And at that moment, I got very spiritual in my thinking process of what just transpired. The water created like a cryotherapy for my knees. It didn't
mm,
allow my knees to hurt.
mm,
And I thought, wow, that's something. I stepped in the water and my healing instantly began because I didn't think about my knees.
mm.
It's like when Christ called you and you go into baptism, he said, come as you are. I did. I went to the water. I go down as the old Yolanda. When I came out, I was like, I want to go back. back
Yeah.
in. So now I'm a renewed woman, like,
Mm,
wow, look at this. That water and the sound of the water, walking through it, hearing the birds chirping, being in a blanket of trees was amazing for me.
mhm,
And I sat when it was time to have lunch. I didn't eat initially, and everybody kept saying, are you okay? Are you enjoying yourself? They was wondering if something was wrong. Nothing was wrong. Everything was right. And they
mm.
was like, well, come on and get you something to eat. And I ate. I was anxious to get back out there, and I did.
Yeah.
And I got back out there, and it was even more than what I had ever thought would happen with fly fishing. Sometimes I can't even explain it outside of what I just shared, but fly fishing is amazing. I
Mm.
want everybody to experience it. So every time a black woman walk past me, I'd be like, hey, have you ever been fly fishing? Fly fishing? I want everybody to know.
Love that.
Yeah.
So you're the founder of Her Waters, and as you know, you're telling this story. Can you talk to me about where the name came from? Is that where Her Waters came from, and what's your mission? And talk to me a little bit more about that.
Well, the mission for Remain Hooked Outdoors, I've always still had Remain Hooked Outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I looked into my surroundings, it was always, I'm the only brown sugar on the water. And I wanted to see more of me on the water. And that wasn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just felt like it kept being pushed in my face that you're the only one. You're the only one. And being a veteran, I know a lot of veterans. And that one evening, I went to bed with the laptop in my lap, and Holy Spirit was like, "Oh, you're gonna change this name because this don't align with what you're doing." And I was like, "Wait a minute, I done had this name since 2017. I ain't finna change it." And I'm just going back and forth in my head about this decision. And then it was given to me. Her waters are belonging for women of colors. You belong here too. Her water represent all women who decides to take a rod and step into the water. Her waters. It I guess because as a veteran, I want to allow my fellow female veterans to experience what I did, a particular healing. I'll never know what their issues are, but I know that they will receive whatever it is they're to receive by stepping in the water. And I wanted it for non-veteran women, and I want it for girls. And I want them to understand that her waters means you belong here too. And so I did something really crazy because I believed in it. I went on Facebook and Instagram and changed the name to Her Waters. I ain't even talked to the Secretary of State. Did I tell you this is the crazy part? I went on there and said, oh, Remain Hooked Outdoors is now Her Waters Inc. And then I thought, oh, shoot, I got to change it with the state secretary of state. So I did the paperwork. And I was nervous because I didn't know if that name was taken.
Mm-hmm.
Know if I was going to be able to use it at all. And then it was maybe a week later, I got a text. I was jumping up and down. And then I stopped instantly. And I thought, Yolanda, why was you worried? If God gave it to you, He gonna make it available for you. I was like, to check myself.
Yes.
So now we are Her Waters.
Mm-hmm.
My mission is to bring female veteran, women, non-veteran, and girls to fish or fly fish, but provide them empowerment, healing, and representation in that water. By doing this, they'll take up a leadership role, but not only that, someone will take a legacy moment and share, and it'll keep going. And I'll be the catalyst that brought it. And then I thought, I'm doing what my mother did for me. I'm just doing it on a larger scale. And every time I do something, no matter if it was being in the military, buying a house, I'm doing things that my grandmother and my mother was not allowed to do. And now I look at myself as a generational curse breaker. I'm breaking down barriers. I'm
Yeah.
hitting the ceiling. I want it for all of us. Now I am inclusive. Every woman is
Mm-hmm.
invited, but I am very intentional about making women, Black women, know about fly fishing because 99.6% of the women that I ask, have you ever fly fished? And they go, what is fly fishing? I said, you never heard? No, they never heard of fly fishing. One lady said, I know what that is. That's when the fish is flying over the water. You got a net, you catching them, right? I was like, no, baby, that ain't it. No, baby, that is not it. That is not it. But I've gotten some funny answers. Some I will not share, but I need them to be empowered and have an understanding that, they need to understand where we are today because back then this was a top heavy white industry. And my Black sisters, they don't know that we're returning the fish back to the water pool. We're not taking this, we're not scaling it and slicing it and putting it in the grease. Okay.
Right.
This is a sport and you want to share it with someone else. And there's a harvest time that's a delayed harvest time period where you cannot take it off the water. But then there does come a time when you can. But at the moment where I'll be fishing is a moment that you cannot. I want you to
Mm-hmm.
understand the art of it. And that has been the most difficult thing to try to explain to. You mean to tell me if you caught that big fish and you didn't take it home? No, baby, it went right back to the water. So I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm excited about what I'm doing. And I just hope that my mission, and it's coming to fruition because I'm being contacted as far as Alaska to West Virginia, Colorado, Montana. I have women reaching out to me saying, hey, I saw the name change. And so here I am.
Yeah, that brings me to another question because many people, especially Black women, veterans, beginners, feel intimidated stepping into these fishing spaces. What advice do you kind of give someone who wants to start but doesn't feel like they belong or that they should be there, someone that doesn't have any, history or knowledge but has curiosity about fly fishing? What do you kind of say to them?
I say to them, don't ever allow the notion just because you don't know doesn't mean that you can't learn. And I want them to understand that everything that you want to do has a first step. And I want you to take that first step. Take the first step. Step into the water. Don't be afraid. Say yes to the fly. You know, yes,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Because it can be intimidating. And I'll say this: there are times when women we're such perfectionists. We want to do things the right way, and if we feel like if we don't do it the right way, then somebody's going to say, hey, you did that wrong, XYZ. No, there's nothing perfect. It takes time to perfect a skill that you never learned. I'm guilty. I want perfection. I want to get out there and let my line fly. I want that one day. You know, I want to be able to do many things, but it does begin with the first step. And just knowing that you belong here, you don't have to be perfect. You can mess up. You can get a fly in that tree every time you cast, but one of them casts is going to land in the water. We just got to count how many times it's going to take for it to happen. But you're out here. And that's the biggest step that they could ever take is just showing up.
Yeah. That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
What does meaningful allyship look like in the fishing world? Especially for those who want to support women of color and veterans entering the sport. What would an allyship look like?
It's standing in the gap saying, I got you. Don't worry. I know it's you're gonna have some hiccups, but I'm here to help you through those hiccups. And I need people to know that don't be afraid to ask me, oh, is this an all black group? No, it's a women's fishing group if you want it to be a group, but I'm an organization that's here for everyone. I am just intentionally grabbing these ladies because they don't know. And allyship is like you saying, hey, I'm with you. What do you need? How can I help you? And I can tell you there are some ladies that have done that for me. One is Wanda Taylor. Wanda Taylor. Oh my gosh. I'll ring her name. Oh, Wanda Taylor is amazing. When I lack some of the knowledge I needed for my nonprofit, Wanda was right there to give me advice. And when she saw the name change, she said, she's texting this and she's like, did you change? Are you Her Waters? Did you change your name? And I said, yes. And she said, girl, I need your mission and I need your goals. I'm looking at two companies to get you some rods, to get me some rods. And I was like, you are? I'm just like, really? Yes. And I'm amazed. Heather, she'll tell you, I saw her text and I'm reading it. It sounded too good. I was like, ooh, you want to recognize me at Black History Month? Me? And I'm reading it. I said, oh, I know this is a hoax. Somebody just done found out I done changed the name. And so I'm driving and it's in the window and I'm reading. Then it said Heather Hudson and it's the name, the phone number is at the bottom. I said, oh shit, this must be real. So I tap it and I call her and I was like, are you for real? And she's like, yes. Amazed that I'm here.
She's an amazing woman, that Heather Hudson. I'll tell you what.
Yes. It's being seen. That's the most important thing that I could say is having someone actually see you. Yeah. And that means a lot to me. That when you can look beyond the color of my skin and see my heart and see my desires to bring more women to the water, you see me.
And that's our campaign, is be what you don't see.
Yeah.
That is our campaign.
Well, I used to say, when I catch a fish, I remember saying, you'll see it. Did you ever see that clip? You'll see it. And then I thought, yeah, they see the fish, but do you see me? And
Mm.
there's another woman, Circe. She saw me. She saw that I didn't even have the correct trout net. And she said, show me your trout net. I mean, show me your net. And I showed it to her. It was a regular fishing net. She said, no, give me your address. She sent a brand new trout net to my home. People who see me. I am, as you can see, I'm wearing, I don't know if you can see this,
I
but
can't see it.
I'm wearing Miss Mayfly. I met Kimberly online. We began to talk. When I tell you that lady is amazing beyond anything that I've dreamed. What woman just says, oh, I'm going to draw up a sketch and have waiters fit women of anybody size? I met her. She asked me if I would like to be an ambassador. I was like, you asking me? Me? She was like, yes. Why not you? And I was like, because nobody's never asked me. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And she began to mentor me over the phone. We would call, have like hour and a half talks. I'm like, I'm actually speaking to the founder of this. I would be so giddy, right? Then there came a day I looked online and I was doing something. I just happened to pick up the phone. I said, congratulations. What is this? And it said, congratulations, $3,000 donation to Remain Hooked Outdoors. Man, I gave the worst ugly cry you could ever see. I was like, oh. I was blown away that we received that kind of money
Mm.
for boots and waders for our women to come so that when I put on my first retreat, I have something for them to put on. It got better. The next day after I sent her the clip, I said, I gotta send this to you. I'm sorry that I'm doing an ugly cry, but this really surprised me. So she said, that felt good that I sent her that. She said, we're gonna up the ante. We're gonna give you $5,000 worth of gear. Oh,
Wow. Wow.
I just passed
Mm.
out. It's like, is this really happening?
Mhm.
Yes, it was happening. And I am forever grateful to the women that stepped in into my life and was making her waters into reality for female veterans, for women and little Black girls who need to have this experience. So,
Mhm. Yeah. And you're creating community. You're
oh,
creating legacy.
yes, I have a granddaughter.
Mm.
And I would love to see this organization bloom beyond measure. I would love to have her at the helms when I no longer can do anything. That's my biggest dream,
Mhm.
to pass it down to her and to know that her great great grandmother, her great grandmother, was the one who introduced fishing to me, and this is why you are where you are. So it
Mhm.
means a lot. I worked
Absolutely.
really hard to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh. This has been so wonderful. I just love talking to you. I love hearing your story and what you're creating in your community. And it sounds like what you create in your community is now just reflecting and growing because you're getting people from all over asking you to do the same thing. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Do you have any plans to, go to different areas and do talks or retreats or anything like that? I mean,
okay, so it's her waters has really grown.
right.
I have been asked by Heather to speak in North Carolina, Brevard, North Carolina, and she wants me to just tell my story how her waters became what it is today. I've never been asked to go speak. So this is one of those opportunities. Um, from a conversation I had with a lady who connected with me from Alaska, who knows Heather, said, I love what you're doing. She's a retired veteran, Air Force veteran.
Mhm.
And I spoke to her, and there's other women. There's one in Ohio. There's another lady down in Florida. And I get these amazing connections of women and what they feel. Let me see. I would love to be able to share this with you. So, and it's so many. There's no way that I could possibly um, share them all with you, but this one touched my heart. She says, "Morning, Dr. Edwards, Dr. Yolanda. I am sending this message with tears flowing for two reasons. Last week, I lost my fishing buddy, my best friend, and the man I called dad 1 week ago. As I've been silently grieving, listening to my gospel music, I posted a song on my page stating that God will continue to guide me as he's done in the past. Then your page name changed, popped up on my screen. Instantly, I felt, and I know in all caps, it was nothing more than the Holy Spirit showing me his power. I would love to connect with you. I don't believe in coincidences. And I'm getting more of that every day.
Mhm.
Somebody will pop up and say, "Hi, Yolanda." And I have a long conversation with them, and they say, "Wow, I just feel your joy. I feel like who you are. I feel like, you're just that kind of person." And my
Mhm.
kids will tell you, if there's somebody in the streets that need a shirt, they know their mama would be the one to take it off and give it to them. So
Right,
that's who
right.
I am. That's who I am, and that's how I'm going to approach every woman that comes to
Mhm.
her waters. And I want them to understand, you ain't got to be perfect. I just want you to take one step at a time and know that you belong here. This is your waters. This your
Mhm.
water. Come learn. Have fun.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. Alicia, you like,
Oh, you're getting me because I'm like,
oh,
I'm trying to keep it together. Be professional. But you just really have spoken to my heart and my spirit as well. And I thank you for that. And I do think you're leaving, creating and will leave. Let me put it that way. Creating and will leave such a beautiful legacy. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful for you. I'm
thank
grateful that the universe, God, speaks through you and has spoken to you and
you.
has helped you to create her waters, and that you're creating paths for young women that just would never be exposed to fly fishing or maybe even nature in the same way. Like you're talking about when you were in the river and
Mhm.
how that actually felt. Like, I think, as Black women, we don't get to experience nature in the same way often because our chipmunks are always running and
That
on
little
alert.
buzz. Yes. But we need to slow down.
Yes, that creating those beautiful spaces and teaching young girls especially that they can do that now,
Yes.
and
Yes.
continue it for the rest of their life. So
Yes.
it's
That's going
just
to be the
beautiful.
amazing part. I just want someone when I'm no longer here. I want someone to be so impacted that they become a part of this organization and they can look at my children in the face and tell them, it's because of your mom that I fish. Your mom did this. And that's what I work really hard to do. And some days are better than others, but I keep pushing because I know whenever you can get a woman who's been inducted into a Hall of Fame of fly fishing, call you and tell you, "I'm proud of you, Joyce Shepard, I'm on the right path. I'm on the
That's
right
right.
path.
That's right.
I'm on the right path." Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep, this thing, I know my kids probably gonna look at this and they go, "Oh my God, there she goes again." I get so emotional about the work that I'm doing because I believe in it so passionately. And I want others to see her waters and feel like she really wants to do something for female veteran Black women and girls. Let's see what we can do to give her what she needs and watch me move. I will be at every branch in the military. First I got to start with the Army. Okay, and then I'll do Air Force because my daughter's retired Air Force. But I will do, I want to go to Marines, Navy, Coast Guard. I want to be present and I want to reach those women, those that are getting ready to retire, those who are separating. I want them to know that in your retirement, you may not know what you want to do, but you got to keep moving. And you're not going to be moving at the same pace you did in the military. Okay, but I can give you something that you can be passionate about where you don't just come and sit and try to figure out, dang, now I'm retired. Now what do I do with myself, And there will be those women that will fit that category. Maybe some won't, but for the few that will, I want to offer her waters to them and give them an opportunity to heal like they've never been healed before.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. But that's my goal. That's my goal. That's my goal. I really, that's what I want to do. Yeah. And if anybody's listening to this podcast and you want to, support Her Waters, I encourage you. We have a donation tab out there. If you have a bill, I don't care what you got. You got a building where we can teach kids. I'm thinking big. Hey,
Yes.
out there, you got a van where I can transport kids. I'm ready. I'm for it all because I know the God I serve said, all you got to do is ask. A closed mouth will never get fed. So that's where I'm at.
Yes. Yes.
Where I'm at.
Is there anything else you want to share with, the I Fish I Belong community or?
Oh, iFishiBelong community. You all are amazing. And the reason why I use amazing a lot, but it's a good term. The reason why I care so much about iFishiBelong, it encompasses everyone without being exclusive. Anyone can come, no matter who you are, no matter how you identify, because it ain't none of my business. But baby, if you want to fish, come on, I got you. And that's what I love about I Fish I Belong. And when I saw that, I was mad because I didn't come up with I Fish I Belong. I was like, man, that's a good name because, that means everybody in the masses can come. There's no exclusion. And neither does Her Water. Her Water is not exclusion, but, I'll let the men come fly fish if y'all can hold, tow some bags and, y'all do the muscular stuff for me. But, yeah, so what they do is it was beyond anything that I had thought about doing. And I think it's amazing. And for I Fish I Belong to speak with me and assist me in ways that I didn't know. I don't know everything and I don't claim to know everything. But when I am being given information freely, man, those are gems you need to take. Not every organization is willing to share with you how you can become better. These are avenues you can take. Here, I'll send you a spreadsheet. Here, you can use this. Those are tools that I can use to help my women. And I Fish I Belong said, yeah, you belong here too, girl. Come on, what you need? Tell me what you need. Okay, you need what? Okay, I got that. I could just see Heather. You need what else you need? You need to know how to do forms in it. Okay, Google. I can spend an hour with you and teach you Google because I do not know Google. Okay, I got you, Yolanda. You need an hour on. No other organization is going to do that. That's who I Fish I Belong. That's who my go-to for answers. That's my go-to to share my thoughts on what I'm doing. Am I going well? Am I doing right? At the end of the day, I think I exemplify their be that person you want to be, do the
Be
thing.
what you don't see. Be what you
Do what
don't
you don't
see.
see.
Yes.
I am that person all day long. Every day, I am going to be the person that I don't see. And I did not see, and I don't see any woman advocating for me to be on the water and tell me that I belong. And so I'm tired of being the only brown sugar, even though it works for me, but I want to be, we have a uniqueness of fun and how we say things and how we do things. I would like that on the water. Not that I don't have fun, because I can name one person right now I would go fishing with every single day. That's Circe and Nita and Megan and Hilton. Those ladies, they're fun. I just want to bring some more brown sugar into the bunch and let's have a clan fun. And so that's what her waters is. Let's bring everybody. Let's bring everybody. So that's what I want to do. And I'm glad that I'm decided to be that person to do it.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad to.
Thank
I'm
you.
grateful for you. I'm glad. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to share?
For anybody that don't know, I would like to be able to go live from my Instagram page. I need 1,000 followers. Instagram has changed their rules yet again, and you must have 1,000 followers before you can go live. There'll be a lot of things that I want to do in the future that I would like to put on there. I can go live on Facebook. I have done that before, but those are just platforms I need more exposure in there. If I can get those people to follow, then their followers will see me, and possibly I'm trying to reach the masses. And so if you see Her Waters Inc., please share it with a vet. If you have a female friend that's a veteran, no matter what the branch, she's got all kudos if she Army, but no matter what the branch, they understand. They understand this conversation. We do this all the time. But no matter what the branch, please support and send them to me, because I need them to have this fun. I need them to get some healing. I need them to be empowered. I need them to show more representation on the water. And if you look at healing, empowerment, and representation, if you take the first letter of each of those, it says her. It's her. You didn't know that, did you? Yeah, healing, empowerment, and representation is her. Her waters.
Now that's going to make me cry.
I tell you, I've sat many hours speaking to the good Lord and having His Holy Spirit just come down on me. And sometimes some things that are being shared with me, I'll be like, I feel as if I am talking to someone. And I know people may not understand where I am, but I am spiritual. And it's like, what? I gotta do what? Change the name? I've had that. I get into that. And so I spend a lot of time like in solitude when I really want to do the work, and I'm just being poured into. Even if it's spiritually, sometimes it's physically, because like Heather, Wanda, seriously, they all pour into me, and it's all women, it's her, and we all belong.
Yes. Yes. Mhm. Yeah. I think when those voices come to us, that's when we know we're aligned with our true path.
Yeah.
And that's when we know that we are on the path that we are meant to be on, because things become so clear.
It does.
Hmm.
I agree wholeheartedly with
And
you.
that noise just goes away,
It does.
and we find our alignment with ourself, and something greater than ourselves too.
Something greater than ourselves. Because this is really not, it's really, I don't want it to be about me.
Mhm.
I truly desire for it to be the focus on her. That's where the focus lies because I need her to know that she belongs. And it's not about Dr. Yolanda Edwards. If you take me out of the equation, we can still move this organization and reach women because the name resonates with so many. And it was the correct move. And so that's what I desire. Don't see me, see her. See your sister. See your mother, your cousin, your auntie, your daughter. See them and encourage and pour into this organization, and we can reach more family members that way.
There are going to be so many amazing takeaways from this
Okay.
conversation with you. And I am just so excited for the world to hear from you, and I'm so grateful that you came to I Fish, I Belong, and that we get to have this conversation today. So thank you, Miss Yolanda.
You are welcome. It has been
Appreciate
my
you.
pleasure.
Yes, this has been wonderful. I'm so glad I can see your face and we weren't just on the phone, although that was wonderful too. It was
Yeah.
nice to
And
see
thank you.
you.
I'm glad I was able to filter that question to you. And
Yeah.
it helped me. I don't, here I am. Okay. I'm going to put it out there so people know. I'm 63. I'll be 64 in May. Okay. And I don't know all the technology. I don't know how people feel about certain things. But when it came to my logo, I was really nervous about putting it out there. I needed one woman to stand in the water. And it's not a representation of me. And whoever want to take it as a representation of me, God bless you. But it's just a woman who's standing out there. She's taking ownership of her water. It's her water. And she's out there and the sunset is behind her. And I need people to see that she's taking ownership. She doesn't need a lot of women around her. You just need one woman to get to the water. And that's what my logo says.
Mhm.
That's what that logo. And for
I
you,
can't wait to buy it on a shirt or on a sticker. I can't wait. I'm going to be wearing it all over the place.
it's coming, but thank you so much for that insight because
Absolutely.
sometimes people say, "Oh, that's too black." It's not inviting for others, and on and on and on. But thank you
I
for
don't
the
think we're
clarity
doing that
that you gave.
anymore. I don't
We're
think we're doing
not.
that anymore. We're not doing too black anymore. And if I'm too black, then that no, too so what? I don't care. But
But it is not. It really
you
isn't
know,
about that at all. It was
yeah, yeah,
just pouring a representation into that water, into that logo, so that when people
absolutely.
see it, they can recognize it's her
Yes,
water.
yes,
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. But
of
this has been a
course.
pleasure. This has been a pleasure meeting you, meeting your dad
Wonderful.
on yesterday.
I know
And,
you got Bartlett time like nobody's business.
I got Bartley time. I don't know about nobody else, but I definitely have Bartley time.